Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube video. So today I'm going to talk about my extremely horrible, terrible boarding school experience. I experienced so much bullshit in boarding school. So much, like a lot.
I'm running through your nigga house like a Tomb Raider. You gotta pass around, nigga, he a hot potato. I told him eat it or get out, that's your ultimatum.
So I was in boarding school for 6 years from God. I don't even remember. I was just in boarding school for 6 years because back home where I grew up, as soon as you're done with like elementary, like primary school, like high school, secondary, you have to go to boarding school. Majority of the schools were boarding schools, and the best schools in the country were boarding schools. So I ended up going to a Catholic girls boarding school for 1 year. And let me tell you, that 1 year felt like 10 years because I was treated so badly. Particularly because I was a foreigner. Now, I grew up in Tanzania, for those who know me. I grew up because my grandmother worked there, so me and my mom lived there. So I grew up in Tanzania. So being a foreigner in a very conservative country wasn't easy for me. So I had to learn how to speak the language. I had to try and adapt to their culture, although I was raised differently. Not that the way I was raised was wrong, it's just because they were very conservative. So the way I was raised was different from the way they used to act. So I was always a center of attention just because of the way I used to speak, the way I used to dress, the way I used to act. I have always been confident, so I was always the center of attention. But I got used to it because I was like, I'm not gonna change myself because of these people. I guess that's where I got my self-esteem from. So fast forward to when I was 13, turning 14, I went to boarding school for the first time, high school. I was there, it was an all-girls Catholic school. The headmistress at first really liked me. Everybody liked me and stuff. I think they liked me because they found me interesting. My mom couldn't speak Swahili, so when she'd come to school, she'd all come in like pants looking good. If you know my mother, she dresses well. So like they'll always be, Ria, that's your mom. Oh my God, she looks so good. And then they'll look at the way I dress, like even in school uniform, I would always look good. Even when it came to exams, I would do well, and I was always like the best in English because apparently English was my first language, and like the questions they used to ask were quite easy, so I was always like the best in English there. So like I was always a center of attention. Like my life, just because it's me, it's me. I was a center of attention. Fast forward to our first holiday. I had a boyfriend at the time. So we're on holiday. Back in those days, that was like early 2017, Facebook was still kind of trending. So my boyfriend, on our anniversary, my ex-boyfriend, God forbid, my ex-boyfriend posted a picture of me and him on our anniversary, yeah? So I commented, he commented, but then somebody commented on our picture and was like, why are you guys going so fast, blah, blah, blah. Why, this was actually a hater. I knew this person is because he liked me and I didn't want him. So he was hating under the picture, on the post, but that's the story for another day. So I was dissing him. I told him to suck my dick and all of that. Then also, I had previous pictures from Christmas where we had come from church and my grandmother was like, we should go out. So I wore this really short dress and my grandmother took pictures of me. Now the picture that my grandmother took is what I posted on Facebook. Let me tell you, kids my age understand how extreme Facebook was those days. Facebook was like the Instagram of today. I don't even know my Facebook password. As far as I'm concerned, Facebook back home is banned. In Uganda, Facebook is banned, so I don't even know what's still on my Facebook. But anyway, so I post that. The boy comments, I diss him, and then I posted another picture of me and my boyfriend. I was like, I love you and stuff. I didn't know our headmistress, the headmistress that I had at my school, found my so-called Facebook account. screenshotted all my posts, everything I was saying. Like, she was literally looking for kids, so she found me. And imagine I had an anonymous name. I wasn't even using my real names, but she found me. So I was home, but the candidate classes were at school. So one day she calls the girls in candidate classes and starts talking about me indirectly, saying how I'm going on social media, I'm posting myself naked, I'm attracting men, I'm selling myself on social media. That's the first thing she said. Then she talked about the post between me and my boyfriend, and she's like, how does this girl have a boyfriend? What is she doing with her boyfriend? That's how she comes to school pregnant. So I didn't know. So girls, my friends, those girls were in a higher class than me, texted me and were like, Ria, you need to go to Facebook and delete all your posts. I'm like, why? Our headmistress, mind you, she was a nun, a Catholic nun, has found your post and she's talking shit about you. You might be removed from being a prefect, because I was a prefect at the time. And she liked me at first. I'm like, oh, she did that. So I went, because I really wanted to be a prefect. Those days, prefects had privileges. So I went, I deleted the post, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as I went back to school, her attitude towards me changed. Like, she would look at me in a specific way. She started addressing my mom in like a weird way. Like, she started acting weird. Oh, I was demoted from being a prefect according to, it's not that I was doing badly, no, I was doing good in school, but like, they just demoted me and said because they have so many prefects, so they removed me. Yet I was actually one of the best. Listen, anybody who was in my year will tell you I was a good entertainment prefect. I was a sports and entertainment prefect, but I was basically on the entertainment side, because me and sports don't go together. So I was a very good entertainment prefect. So I get removed from being a prefect. I didn't do anything wrong, mind you. And I was made to clean the bathrooms and stuff. Like, that was my job apparently after being demoted. But I was like, you know what, it's cool, my grades are still good, at least people acknowledge what I was doing. So I was like, I didn't care. I knew she didn't like me and it was fine. So one day we were done with like results, and they were reading people like in the top 10, and like people went up. So she decided to have a meeting with us, and then the woman had the audacity to talk about my post. And then she was like, the girl is sitting right here, busy selling herself all over social media. I wanted to call her mom and expose her, but I decided not to, blah 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 blah. Let me tell you something. Every time I think about this woman, bro, I'm like, she's disgusting. She calls herself a woman of God, a so-called nun, veiling, calls herself a nun. But the things she was doing to just a 14-year-old girl, talking about her, lying on my name, trying to make me like, you know, my life hell in school, just because our cultures were different, and because I was just like growing up in a conservative country, as I said, being different. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just because she wasn't comfortable with me. I'm gonna post the picture so you can see. Yeah, just because she didn't like that outfit and she didn't like the way I was raised or something, because I'm very confident, it was a problem for her. But she liked it at the beginning because she used to like showing me off at like different, like if there were events, I would always go because she wanted to like show me off. Oh, so where you from? How your English is so good, where you from? I started explaining, and they'd be like, oh, so they have foreigners in this school, blah blah blah. They even used to call me Shombe. Shombe is a Swahili word for a mixed girl, or like a person who's half white, half black, or you're just mixed. So they used to call me Shombe and all of that. So I was like, Anyway, so that's when she started making my life hell. So I didn't like the school, and because me and my mom and my grandma were moving back to Uganda, I did my 1 year there, like my first year of high school, and we left. So I leave the school. Fast forward 2 years, my friends who I still talk to that are in that school come home and start telling me, you know, every year ever since you left, whenever she would talk to like girls, she would tell them about you, but she would lie and add salt. I'm like, what would she say? Then they would tell me like, first they didn't want to tell me because they knew how I would get, and they knew if I told my mom would have called that woman, because this is what we call deformation of character. But like, I kept on begging them, can you tell me? So one girl who didn't give a fuck because she wasn't scared of the headmistress, because she was also being treated the same, because she was also like kind of foreign, raised like to be open-minded. I guess because we were raised to be open-minded, we were treated differently. So she was like, I'm gonna tell you what she said. So she started talking about me and saying that I was a prostitute. I used to sleep with, listen, this is a sister. I cannot wait. You know what? Let me not let my anger get into this video. This is exactly what she said. I can never forget this word. She said that I'm a prostitute. I post pictures of myself in bikinis online, and I sleep with men because me and my family are broke. We don't have money. My mom is poor. My mother also does the same thing. She also sleeps with men for money. Yes, she talked about my mom, and that's the thing that got me annoyed, that my mom also sleeps with men for money, and we stay with my grandmother, and my grandmother doesn't even have money. And she was like, she expelled me from the school, but I left willingly. And she would use me as an example to scare these girls not to post stuff on social media. And she would lie to them and be like, I have assigned the computer studies teacher to hack into all of your phones and make sure you're not like this girl who is selling herself all over social media, who is a prostitute because she's... And I'm like, this is what we call a reverend nun, a sister, a Catholic sister, the one who does the way of the cross, the girl, the woman who devoted her life to Christ, was spreading these rumors about a child. At the time I was 14, this time I was 16, because this was 2 years later, and she had been talking about it for years. So people would always be like, who is this, and then people would be like, they're talking about Rhea Ryder, but people always had to defend me. But like, they told me she used me as an example every year, talking to people, saying that I was a hoe. Mind you, I had barely kissed a boy. The boyfriend that I had just started dating, I had just like gotten my first kiss. I did everything in life late for me. She was just talking about me just because of a dress, and just because I talked about that boy. And so she decided to make my life hell. And I was doing well academically. I was. So sometimes I sit back and I be like, why is it that because I was a foreigner, I was treated like this? But I actually thank God that I was treated like that, because like it established a certain type of confidence, a certain type of character in me to deal with people. It made me learn how to deal with people. It made me learn how to not tolerate disrespect. It made me learn how to be calm, be patient. So there's always a good side in something bad. There's always light in something dark, and that was the light in the darkness. That woman tried to break me. She tried to break me so bad, just because I was foreign, just because I was with a single mother, just because I was raised like with my grandmother. She tried to break me. I was in love at the time, and I don't give a fuck whatever she thought. I was in love at the time, so I posted a picture with my boyfriend. The fuck? She's the one who decided to give her life to Christ. Was it me? She was the one who's gonna be there for years not getting dick, not me. So I decided to just like, you know, be like, well, this has happened in my life. At least I have a story to tell my kids how a reverend nun, a so-called Catholic sister, tried talking badly about a child that didn't do anything wrong. It's just because she talks too much. This is my first story. I have 2 other major stories. Actually, I have so many, but they're just in one, about my boarding school experience. Now, this second one is a bit too triggering. So brace yourself, like brace yourself. So what I'm going to talk about now is what happened before I transferred. Like, a lot of stuff happened in my first year. So when I was in my second term, my second semester, okay, it started in first semester. I used to hear rumors that there was a girl who used to fool around with the head of academics, like our academic teacher. He was also my chemistry teacher, and he was a good teacher, but like I didn't like, you know, believe it, because you know it's like stories and stuff. And like I used to see the girl, but we had not become friends yet. So I was like, it's none of my business, you know, these are rumors, you can never believe what's going on. But like I kept an eye out for the teacher. So one day, he was my chemistry teacher. We were sitting in the labs, and we were doing like lab work. All of a sudden, I've always been thick. If you've seen me, I've always been thick. But then he was passing us, like passing us, and he was like rubbing up on my thighs and my ass. And so he rubbed up on somebody else, like some other girl and stuff. And like I saw the way she looked at him and the way the class looked at him. But because we were young, we didn't want to say anything. So like I started like suspecting, like, okay, like this man really is a predator, because you always have to trust your gut feeling. And then I would be paying attention to what he would be doing. And then I started noticing the girl that they were talking about, because basically every girl was talking about it low-key. Used to go to his office after hours, like before like night prep. She was usually there. So we became friends and stuff, and like she started like confiding in me. She didn't reach that point, but like she started confiding in me indirectly about how, like, you know, certain stuff is happening at school, and she can't talk about it, and how she's scared because her mom was a lawyer and her dad was a policeman, and she was so scared because she didn't know how it was going to go down. Because there's this thing where, that's why I said Tanzania is very conservative, but sometimes I think them, and not sometimes, but some of them are very backwards. Like if a teacher and a student are caught together, they say it's the girl's fault. Why was she, or maybe her skirt was too short, but we were in a Catholic school, our skirts were long. Why was she on the guy? They would be like, they're trying to keep the reputation of the school, so they'll tell the girl to leave, but they'll keep him, and then they'll have this big meeting, like, you know, trying to keep the reputation of the school. So like she was scared, and I knew it was true, although she didn't, like, you know, completely say it, but I knew it was true, because she was like, she's hurting, she doesn't know what to do, who to talk to about like what's going on with her at school and all that stuff. So I was like, I'm here for you whenever you feel like, you know, talking about it, it's fine. So then like all of a sudden he stopped paying attention to her. He started paying attention to some other girl. Now that other girl went and told her mom, and then her mom was like, she's not gonna leave her child in this school to get touched by a predator, and took the girl. Like the girl ended up changing schools because she was like, her child is not gonna go through this. But this man was very weird. Like he would come to class and teach us, and like as he's standing, he would like go to the angle of the table and like caress his dick with like the corner of the table, and we're in class, bro, but he's trying to act dumb. He had girls, he had 2 girls, and then he had a wife, and he had a new baby that was a girl, but he acted the way he did. And like it was like so scary having like a predator around, and we were so young. So one thing led to the other. His stuff was getting out of control because he was also doing this stuff with other girls. One person went and snitched to this so-called sister that was busy talking about me. All of a sudden, she calls us all, because it was a new school, so it was 2 years. Me and the year above, my year and the year above, we all go. So she starts asking, I am hearing rumors that something is going on between teachers and students, that some teachers are disturbing students. I want you guys to tell me what's going on, especially in the higher class. You need to tell me what's going on. Who is doing anything with the teacher? Because some parent has come here and has brought police to my office saying that there's something going on, that some teacher is busy disturbing a student. You need to explain to us what's going on. Nobody's saying shit, because as I told you, the mentality there, everybody is quiet. So they chased my class away, because what was happening was happening to the grade above me, like Form 2. I was in Form 1, it was happening to the Form 2 girls. So we leave. As soon as we leave, like she talks to the phone, 2 girls, and I was so happy because I was like, okay, this guy is gonna leave, at least somebody has reported, like, because I felt uncomfortable the way he was like on me. But like my friends were saying he didn't try anything else because people knew my mom was tough. Like when my mom would come to school, she was like no nonsense, so they knew about it. So he never did anything with me. But like the way he touched me that day, like my hips and my ass, and what he was doing to that girl that had to leave, and what he was doing with this girl that was currently there, that was my friend, that indirectly confided in me, I was like, I was so happy that he's leaving. All of a sudden I'm still seeing he's there. Even when I left, girls would tell me that, oh, he would ask her for like her underwear, and like he would keep it and smell it and stuff. And I was so sad because I wish there was something I could do, but I couldn't. I thought by our headmistress now knowing about this guy and now hearing his characteristics, and like people actually telling him that this guy, this teacher does this and this, she would do something about it. No, the guy stayed there until he got a better job and moved. But if this so-called sister did what she needed to do, this so-called headmistress, woman of God, trying to protect girls, that's the reason she had a girls' school, did what she needed to do, this guy would have been put behind bars, because he's a pedophile. He was touching young girls, he did stuff with young girls, he was a father, he was a danger to his kids, he was a danger to other girls. We also don't know if he had done this to another gender before, like he had done this to boys, but as far as I'm concerned, he was a danger to girls. So like she should have done something saying she cares about girls and put him in prison, because I don't know, I have not talked to that girl in like 4 years, but I don't know how this has affected her, because a lot of people that get sexually assaulted, it like go through a certain trauma that it takes a lot for them to like heal. Some of them don't even heal. Some of them end up doing like bad things, end up in drugs, end up like with like mental illnesses and stuff. So you don't know what he did to that girl's life. I hope she's doing good. Even talking about this is gonna make me like, you know, want to reach out to her and find out like how she's doing. But like I blame the headmistress. I blame her, and I'm not being prejudiced, but I blame her because she knew about this man, but she kept him in the school. She did. And like I was young, yes, I didn't say something, but now I'm saying something now. But even if I say something, it's not like I have any evidence, so there's no case I can put. They'll be like, oh, she's just bitter and stuff. But like I am a Christian and I believe God has his time, so I hope it catches up with him, or I hope the law catches up with him, and I hope he pays for his crimes. And I pray he hasn't done this to any other girl, but if he has, I pray that they are fine, and I hope that they get through this. So this was like one of the changing points in my life, realizing that I went to school with a predator, and people actually confided in somebody that was supposed to protect us, and she did nothing. It was a rumor. We all thought it was a rumor, but like we were living amongst a predator, and that was a girls' school, and he went to another girls' school. So you can imagine. So this is the second thing that happened. So after leaving that shithole, I moved to Uganda. My first year, I was in a school that I really loved. I made good friends, but I wasn't doing well academically. Like I dropped like real bad because I guess of the transitioning, getting used to the new system. So I moved to a different school, and I regret, and also do not regret, moving into that school, because that school was local. It was a local school near the house. It was ghetto. I was dealing with, bro, those kids. I remember when I went to the cornflakes one day to the dining hall, some girl was like, what's that? And she smelt it, and I was like, what the hell? How do you smell my food that I'm going to eat? Like put it all the way next to your face and smell it. Those are the kids I was dealing with. But then I was like, God has a purpose for me being here. I was like, it's fine. But then teachers, support staff, people that weren't even in the school started talking about me, because they would be like, how do you say you're Ugandan but you can't speak Luganda? And how do you say, what do you call it, you're you're what's it called, you're American, but like we can't see your birth, like we can't see your passport. Like they made fun of me, like, oh, you say you're an American, but where's your accent? Okay, for people who don't know my ethnicity, my mom's Ugandan, she's from Uganda, and my dad's African American, he's from Texas. So when you combine the two together, equals me, Ria. So because of that, they made fun of me. And like not only making fun of me, they started talking about me, especially the girls. So the boys liked me, like a lot of boys liked me, like in different classes liked me, tried to be my friend. So the girls didn't like that because I was the only girl with hair in their year. They had short hair, so they used to talk shit about me. So yes, they hated me, the girls hated me, but even the boys who pretended to like me, like as a friend, even talked bad about me. That's a whole nother story. But I was like, you know what, I didn't come here to make friends. This is my last year of high school. Let me study, let me get my grades up, and let me pass so I could go to, like, you know, university and stuff. So I used to always eat in the dining hall alone because the girls liked staying in the dining hall till the dining hall hours were done and just talk. Well, I wanted to go to class and study. So I'm studying, doing my stuff, not dealing with any of these girls because they were snakes. We do mocks. I end up being the best in girls. I was the best in girls. I think I was like number, like, I don't, because they never used to give us like numbers, but all I know was the best in girls, and everybody was shocked because I was late to come to school because I really hated that school. So I was just staying home for a very long time before I came back to school. So I come back and everybody's like, oh Ria, you're the best in girls, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Anyways, a new teacher came to school. He was a physics teacher. He was really young. No, he wasn't young, but he was like, he had just come from another school. But I noticed that teacher liked me. Yeah, that teacher liked me. And in the process of liking me, he tried to make my life a living hell. Like when he would see me talking to a boy and stuff, he would be like, I always see you talking to boys and stuff, but it's because he liked me. So he went to the office, the main office, told my class teacher and all other teachers that he only sees me with boys, blah blah blah. So they called me and like, my class teacher called me and was like, we have gotten a report from a teacher that you're only seen with boys and all that stuff. But then one day when I'm going to the toilet, the staff room toilet and the girls' toilet was together. He would literally, I saw him climbing up. Like I'm getting in, he's getting in. To see me come in, I was so scared, I just stood. One day as I was doing a physics exam, that teacher came, started holding my hand. Are you okay? He would come and sit next to me, and my gut feeling was like, this man needs to stay away from me. I knew he wanted me, and that's why he was trying to make my life a living hell. Let me show you how God works miracles. We go home for holiday, we come back, we don't find him. Why? He was harassing some girl that was in a lower class. The girl went told her mom. Her mom came, showed the teachers the messages between her and that teacher, and then he got fired and then he left. So yeah, they are predators in schools, and like I've witnessed and I've been through it. So that's what happened at like the school that I was in. But like that school was so draining for me. People tried to make my life a living hell. Girls just couldn't understand. It even reached a point where the matron was involved because the matron used to talk so much. She used to take people's clothes all over the dormitory, like all the dirty clothes, open up my suitcase because I had an empty kind of suitcase, and put the clothes inside there, go and start shouting to people, oh, this girl is so dirty. And she was saying this just to make me sad, and like, just like, you know, to talk shit about me. But then when my mom would come, she'd be like, oh, Mama Maria, can you do this? Mama Maria, can you do that? I decided not to tell my mom what was going on with me because I knew if I told her, my mom would like make things escalate. So I just told myself I'm going to deal with all this drama, all these rumors, all these lies, all these people treating me like an outcast. I was okay being treated as an outcast in Tanzania, but moving back to Uganda, apparently a place that I call my home, and them treating me even worse, I was like, let me just persevere and finish. So I settled, I hustled, I finished, I got out of there, and I got into Albany. I got into my school, the school that I had really wanted to get into. So like, the only thing I can say is I went through a lot in this last school. I can't even talk about the majority of the things, but like the key things I've told you is basically this matron putting stuff in my bag, calling me dirty, even saying that I don't even wash my panties, which is not true. She was nasty, she was dirty, cooking food, in fact, next to the trash and stuff. But like, I went through so much, but I thank God I went through this. So as I said, yes, I thank God that I went through what I went through at boarding school. It formed a character in me. It made me very patient. It gave me the confidence. It made me strong-willed. It just made me so many things. It formed me. It made me disciplined. It made me learn how to deal with different characters. So at the end of the day, as I said, there's always a good and the bad. The good that I learned from boarding school is I passed to go to university, and I developed a good character, and I also did make some good friends. So yeah, story time is up. That was how my boarding school life was. So many other things did happen, but I decided to just talk about the key things that, like, you know, really disturbed, or should I say impacted, my life in boarding school. Now I'm in the US right now, and I've just come to terms with the fact that even if I go to Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, America, people will always question my ethnicity. Being a mixed black girl who never even grew up in any of her parents' respective countries, this is so thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Faria's Drama. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Or actually, subscribe, like, then share. And also don't forget to follow my socials at Instagram. Don't forget to also tune into my podcast, Ria Talking She. The links are on my Instagram, and I'll find a way of putting the links here on TikTok. Spread the love, continue tuning in. Faria's Drama will always be Faria's Drama. I love you all. Thank you so much. I'll keep on bringing more content. Don't forget to comment whatever it is. I think I might do a Q&A sometime with my friend. Anyways, thank you. Bye.